Hello, Sweet Tooth and Flutter Pyrox is here. Going to play a game where we finally got out of the worst escape room. They saved the worst for last. But finally, we are done.
It opened.
We should get back to the Flore warehouse then.
What?
Oh, is that another projector? Oh no, password.
You're right. Guess it was set to...
It looks like an auth. I think we need to put in an ID and a password.
yeah, but...
This was the real ninth line. Well, let's try it. Akane Jumpy Doll. That's not it. Shiki Jumpy Doll. That was it.
Sigma, look!
Akane. Her name is Akane Kurashiki. I've been looking for her for a very long time.
She's a hologram.
Akane.
I see you finally arrived. I've been waiting for you. Well, I suppose that's slightly inaccurate. What you see now is a holographic message I recorded before you came here. Unfortunately, this means I will not be able to answer your questions, at least not directly. I hope you will understand. Now, where to begin? You probably have a great many questions. What day is it? Where are we? Who is Zero? And what does he have to do with Akane Kurashiki? But I imagine there is one question that rises above all the others. Why were we brought here? The answer to that is simple. Everything that has happened here is part of our plan. All of this was required for the success of the AB project. I assume you've heard the name by now, at least. In any event, you were all needed in order to execute our plan. The Nonary game was necessary for the same reason. Your question now, I imagine, is just what is this AB project?
Better question, why the dice game?
The answer to that is also simple. Allow me to explain. project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of two people into the past. Those two people are you, Sigma, and you, Phi. Have you figured out what this room is? I assume you saw the Q on the door. It stands for quantum. That makes this the quantum room.
Quantum.
Take a look at the rear of the room. Do you see that large enclosure? That houses our quantum computer. The systems that control this entire facility run on that machine. That includes the construct you refer to as Zero Jr., as well as the golems.
So we found Zero Jr.
All of them do their thinking in that box. Isn't that strange, though? It seems contrary to how we perceive the world. The body, the thing that you see and interact with, is somewhere else. But the mind and all its thoughts are in this box. Perhaps it isn't so strange, though. Perhaps humans are the same, with our minds and thoughts existing separate from our bodies.
Whatever,
Our
Connie.
core is in our head, of course. We all have individual brains, think individual thoughts, and act according to individual wills. That makes communication difficult, though. So, we're forced to rely on inefficient mediums like language, photographs, non-verbal cues, etc., to transmit information. Each one of us is an individual, and we have no direct connection to anyone else. But in the dimensions we are most familiar with, yes, it is. If we look at things from another higher dimension, however, we may all be connected after all, like the branches of a tree or a rhizome. Imagine a horizontal cross-section of the root system of a large tree. All you can see are the spots where the roots intersect the plane of your cross-section. In the two dimensions you see, the roots all appear to be individual things, with no connection to one another. But this isn't the case. If you expand your view and look at the root system in 3 dimensions, instead of only 2, you see the truth. All the roots join together at the trunk. In 2 dimensions, they appear to be separate. But if you look at the roots from a 3rd higher dimension, you see things that might appear to be separate from one another in 3 dimensions could be connected to one another if you look at them in 4 dimensions. Doesn't that at least seem like it could be a possibility? I believe that is how human consciousness actually works. Well, I'm not the only one. Zero and I share that belief.
Morphogenetic field theory.
Now, when I talk about a 4th dimension, I'm referring to the 4th dimension used in Minkowski space-time. Let's start with the single dimension, where all that exists is a point.
I feel like I should have never used that password. Now I'm getting a pseudoscience lecture, just like from Phi. This is the torture room.
Connect points to one another, and you have a line. In one dimension, the only surface you can create is that, a line.
I know, geometry.
But move to 2 dimensions and create more lines, and you can create shapes.
Yes, geometry.
These are 2-dimensional surfaces.
Ugh.
Move up to 3 dimensions, and you can connect these shapes to one another and form 3-dimensional objects.
Yes, cubes. Geometry.
Now you have a 3-dimensional surface, which encompasses a volume of space.
Thank you, Dr. Akane.
Connect 3-dimensional
You're so
objects to one
insightful.
another, and you formed a 4-dimensional object, which encompasses a volume of both space and time. It is on that 4th dimensional axis that our minds are connected. If that was true, then what would prevent anyone from sending their consciousness backward or forward in time?
The inability to have the car that needs to go fast enough.
That theory is the foundation of the AB project. The A represents after, and the B represents before.
Well, where's our hoverboards, Akane?
It probably sounds silly to you. A ridiculous story made up by a bad old woman.
Can we walk out of the room?
But look at what's happened to you. You've seen many different worlds and timelines, haven't you, Sigma? And what about you, Phi? I know you have too. Am I wrong? Tenmyoji should know what I'm talking about as well. I believe you experienced something very similar nearly half a century ago. You sent your consciousness to the past to help save a little girl's life. It was a long time ago, but perhaps you still remember.
Yeah, of course I do. How could I forget? That little girl was you, Akane.
Now, unfortunately, my time is up. The final stage of the project will begin very soon. I need to go prepare. The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting. One last thing. The cat in the box. Is it alive or is it dead? Sigma? Phi? You will decide its fate. Goodbye.
Wait! Akane, wait!
Oh, Tenmyoji, I can almost see you. You don't need to worry. Everything is going to be okay.
Is it?
I will see you again one day. I promise. But I'm going to have to ask you to wait just a little longer.
Wait! Akane!
She's really mean him. Yeah.
Thank goodness. It will take some time for them to recover completely, but they should be fine.
Good.
Indeed.
Thank you, Luna. And thanks for finding the medicine, you guys. Thank you so much.
No need to thank us.
Yay!
Oh, we found those in the crew quarters. Before you returned, we went to check on the bomb in room 2, and we found them there. Of course, the bomb was indeed turned off. Thank you again for dealing with them. You are, quite literally, lifesavers. You have my eternal gratitude.
No, I'll let you handle it. I chose Betray in the last round. You probably don't trust me right now.
Excuse me, I apologize for interrupting, but I think you should be the one to vote in the next round fight.
Why?
You already have 9 BP. There's no reason for you to choose Betray now. You see? Not necessarily.
What does it matter what he's suggesting? We're almost there. We just have to play the AB game 3 more times. Then we can all get 9 points. But that means each representative has to choose ally all 3 times.
Okay, I'll vote. You sure you're alright with this, Sigma?
Shall we open the doors?
An ambidex gate has been opened. 45 minutes remain until...
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, well, we could vote earlier, but then each voter would be stuck in the...
Okay. Let's...
I agree. Please, lead the way.
Hold on. I just remembered something. The AB room on the left, in one of the other histories, she... Maybe because she wasn't murdered. Do you remember what Akane said?
The cat in the box. Is it alive? Or is it dead, Sigma? Fine. You will decide its fate.
Exactly. Perhaps she was saying her own fate wasn't decided yet. The history where she's alive and the history where she's murdered are both real right now. No, we haven't opened the box. We haven't found a body. But we haven't found her alive yet either. In other words, we haven't actually observed her. The hologram was a recording from before this game started.
The next time we meet, I can tell you the rest of the story. So come and find me. I'll be waiting.
To be continued.
A new destination has been added to the flowchart. Oh my god. You gotta be kidding me.
What is happening?
Oh my god, all the way at the beginning. Before the flowchart even starts. Look back up.
What is wrong with these people?
You gotta go all the way back to this random new area. AB room pass.
What? What is wrong with these people?
No, This is one of the AB rooms. Damn, I guess you did lose your memory after. Check your bracelet. Mine's the same. No, not. I think we woke up a little earlier this time. Push the buttons on the side of your bracelet. We didn't wake up this long before the primary doors opened last time. I think we're about an hour early. Yeah, Akane, we got back before Dio killed her. I think. Right.
To stop her from getting killed.
Exactly. Don't need to tell me twice. Let's go.
Seek a way out. Didn't we already do this puzzle?
Yep, it looks like you're doing it one more time.
A puzzle I don't even remember?
Yep. Put the puzzle from the beginning of the game again. Well, you can start by taking all the screwdrivers off the edges. We don't need to look there. Oh.
We already have the passwords. Ah.
Well, it'd be nice if you actually knew the password when we were trying these, though.
Yeah. Where was the thing?
Oh, yeah, you're supposed to turn on
You found it.
Jumped on the Dio.
He's fine. Just unconscious.
Yay!
I don't think he saw me. He probably has no idea what happened to him. He had it coming.
Exactly.
So you came. I've been waiting for you. You're
yeah.
here to hear the rest, right? Have been stabbed in the heart by this young man and died. Yes. Although, that reminds me, I haven't thanked you yet. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate you saving me.
Hold on.
You're a weirdo.
How do you know about being stabbed by Dio? Are you an Esper too?
Yes. Indeed, I am. I am able to jump through time, just like you. Because I had to. Think back. Why are you here? If I hadn't been killed by Dio, no one else would have been murdered. Consequently, your own abilities would never have manifested. I did explain, didn't I? The purpose of the AB project was to send the two of you to the past. Or your minds, at least. In order for that to happen, some death was necessary. When a human brain is faced with danger, its processing speed increases.
No pseudoscience, stop it.
Information is processed more quickly, and time almost seems to slow. A few
Timmy
seconds
OG, get
can
out here.
feel
Your
like
girlfriend's
an
out here.
eternity. Unfortunately, that in itself isn't enough to send oneself through time. The amplitude of the consciousness is simply too small. In order to increase the amplitude, we need to slow down.
Timmy
the
OG,
rate
help
before
me.
the increase
Stop this
happens.
madness.
It's a little like a slingshot.
Oh my god.
You pull back on the rubber band and then let go.
I know,
The
just like
potential
Dennis the Menace.
energy you stored in the band is released and converted into kinetic energy.
Let's not get scientific on a slingshot,
That's
please.
what fires the bullet out of the slingshot.
Mm-hmm.
Now, while a slingshot can only fire in one direction, your mind isn't similarly limited.
Because your mind's not a slingshot.
When the bullet of your consciousness is fired from the slingshot of your brain, it travels past the three-dimensional world and into the four-dimensional
Maybe we shouldn't have saved
one.
you.
From that perspective, time is no longer fixed. In other words, you can travel to the future, the past, whenever you like.
Not
Your
really.
consciousness
Otherwise,
has been
Karens
released
would
from
live
the
forever.
three-dimensional cage.
And that would be bad for everyone.
In order for that to happen, I had to infect you with Radical 6.
You really didn't.
We're infected with Radical 6?
Yes. Don't you remember,
I'm happy
Sigma?
about that.
He was like, yes.
Luna should have told you about it in another timeline.
Are you sure? Infected?
Yeah.
Every single one of you has been infected.
Thank you, I guess.
Well, apart from Luna, of course.
Let's do this with the HIV illness too. Why not?
Unfortunately, it was necessary. We needed to slow your minds in order to store up your potential energy.
Can you say the same thing about cancer?
Then we provided
don't
a
think so.
dire situation that would accelerate your processing speed. The result is what you are now experiencing.
No, what I'm experiencing is pain.
Your consciousness now occupies four-dimensional space-time.
If you say so.
Even that, however,
Timmy
wasn't
OG, your
enough.
girlfriend's out here. Please stop this.
You had the ability to
Bang on the
travel,
door.
but your memories could easily be lost.
Dio,
during
why
the
did you have to
trip.
sneak in here 2 hours ahead of time before everybody wakes up? Now we have to listen to this for 2 hours.
If the project was to succeed,
1 hour.
you had to be able to retain everything you learned in each reality. That was the reason you were forced to jump so many times. With each jump, your ability to remember improved.
Yippee.
Eventually, you
Huzzah.
would be able to retain everything.
That's a lie.
That is why we made you play the AB game. That was why you had to select different chromatic doors. By forcing specific choices, we could cause you to make more jumps.
Whew.
Multiple times in different ways. Handy.
We need to jump to a different timeline.
I think I finally understand. I need to get away from here.
I need to get out of here. I need to go back to college, I guess.
Haven't I told you? Death was unavoidable. You were all destined to die. Sacrifices had to be made for the sake of the project. Ah, I'm sure you'll figure it out eventually.
What? Just when is eventually?
In a future not very far from now. I'm going to keep this with me.
Okay.
But it's almost time. No, in a few moments, you'll return to the original timeline. This is the way it has to be. Don't fight it. Logomorph.
Yes.
Logomorph?
You call him Zero Jr. His official designation is Logomorph. Logomorph, this is an order. Unlock my bracelet.
Compliance.
Now, everything is in place. I have put the bracelet onto Dio.
Welcome to the game, Dio the Dark.
All we have to
Wow,
do
Connie
is
is
place his
mean.
body in the 5th AB room.
We will continue with the
second
game.
one
Throw him
from
in the room.
That's the one Quark is in, right?
Correct. I will move him. I will also put your bodies back into the 3rd AB room. Once that's done, to recreate the history that you remember. Your consciousness is about to leave your body and return to the future. Your body will be emptied, and your other consciousness will jump back in. If your bodies aren't back in the 3rd AB room by then, it would be bad.
So you're saying some version of us is going to wake up in that room and repeat the same history again? Well, I guess this could actually be our 2nd or 3rd time.
You are exactly correct. Lastly, I'm going to leave this with you. I'll tie it onto your ankle so that... Tu fui ego eris.
It's Latin. It means, what you are, I was. What I am, you will be.
Yes. It will help you meet someone who's very important. Go. Return to the future. You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you. Now hurry.
Okay. A new destination has been added to the flowchart. What is this madness?
31 hours.
Look at this massive thing.
You probably just spent 31 hours, a full day of your life on this.
Oh my god. Oh god. I guess?
Looks like you're awake.
No thanks to you. I just got lectured the crap out by your girlfriend. It's pseudoscience. It's official. Connie is actually Phi's mother in this reality because Phi likes to torture people with pseudoscience as well.
Why are we here?
Guess so.
Do you know what happened at the AB gate?
I guess not in reality, but whatever.
Kay and I went back to the infirmary, but
We waited and waited, and the two of you never returned.
so we went to the warehouse to check on you.
We found you passed out in front of the AB rooms.
Kay and I hurried back here with you.
You mean what happened a long time ago? Huh. Yeah, I remember all right.
Hey, what are you guys talking about?
What am I? Chopped liver?
Back among the conscious and not psychotic, huh?
Yeah, thanks.
Grandpa told me what you did. Thanks for finding the medicine for her.
Really grabbing at straws here, aren't you? Not really my...
Whatever. Forget about that. Now that you guys are awake, all we gotta do is open the number 9 door.
What are you talking about?
Look at your bracelet.
I've got 15 BP? That means I got 6 more points while I was out.
You've been asleep for more than 2 hours. We've played the AB game 3 times.
Yes, of course, the color and group assignments were shuffled around each time. But no matter who voted, everyone chose Ally. And now all of us have enough to leave.
Hmm. Hmm.
Haven't I? Death was sacrificed.
Come on, let's go! Let's open the door and get out of here!
I don't know.
Alright, let's get going.
Yes, just
I guess not.
The number 9 door. It will read.
Yay, we're all out of here.
Two, 1, 0. The number 9 door.
Yeah. Lacomorph.
The number 9. This end. Thank you. As the game.
You know what this place is?
Whoa! Hold on a minute! You're saying the air outside is full of that horrible virus?
Why? How did all this happen?
Did they?
No, that's not possible.
We've come this far. We can't turn back now. Let's go outside. There's no way to know what's really going on until we do.
All right.
Where the hell are we?
The desert, I guess?
I figured that out. I mean, which one?
I don't know, but I think I know what day it is. Look at the moon. It's red, right? That means today's the total lunar eclipse.
So?
Remember the astronomy magazine in the lounge? Well, the next eclipse like this was going to be on December 31st, 2028. So,
Wait a minute. Let me get this straight. Are you suggesting we were sleeping for a week after we were abducted?
I think so.
The moon. Well, the moon's shadow, actually. Zero told me to stay quiet. I think he was worried I'd spill the beans on his operation. He said if I didn't toe the line, he wouldn't just kill me. He'd kill Quark, too. And I agreed, like an idiot. And brought Quark with me. Just so I could see her. Such an idiot. So, that being the case, might as well start with this. I meant what I said before. That up there is the moon's shadow. Think about it. If that's the moon's shadow, then what's it falling on?
That's Earth.
Yeah. It's not the red moon you get from a lunar eclipse. And again, this isn't a lunar eclipse. It's a solar eclipse. Anybody in the black spot down there is looking up at the moon and covering the sun.
The moon, of course. This is the lunar surface. We were just inside a moon base. No way. No. You've got to be lying. How do you expect us to believe that? This can't be the moon.
Yeah, that's pretty ridiculous. Besides, if this was the moon, how do you explain the gravity? The moon only has 1/6 of the Earth's gravity. So what's this? See? That looked perfectly normal.
Yes, it looks that way.
Okay, good conversation. What do we do?
As you said before, the moon's gravity is about 1/6 that of Earth's.
Okay, but oxygen is not unlimited in space.
The time that it takes for an object to fall is inversely proportional to the square root of the gravitational acceleration.
Luna, please don't.
Since the gravity is lower on the moon, that means the time increases. I guess that's a little technical. Let me give you an example.
Oh my god.
Say you drop an atom from a height of 4.9 meters. It will take approximately 1 second to hit the ground.
Mm-hmm.
On the moon, however, that time would be 1 second times root 6, which would be approximately 2.45 seconds. I used 4.9 meters because it matches up with the acceleration of gravity nicely, but it could be anything. The gravity constant is, well, a constant.
Okay.
You could drop something from 10 centimeters or 10 meters and it would be the same. Does that make sense?
Sure.
So now we've established that on the moon, things fall root 6 times slower than they do on Earth.
Yeah.
That being the case, what would happen if someone's brain slowed down by root 1/6? To them, 2.45 seconds would feel like 1 second. 4.9 seconds would feel like 2.
Oh my god.
But it's not hypothetical. That's what's been happening to every one of us.
Wait, you're saying that's the reason we didn't notice the weaker gravity?
Are you sure you didn't notice anything? Feedback. Huh? You and Seaman I said something about it in the lounge. About how you felt weird. It's kind of like my body isn't really mine. I'm sort of floating. Like that.
Oh, that's why Phi can jump so high.
Wait, this is crazy. That can't possibly be Earth out there. Look at it. I've seen photos of Earth and it's blue and green and beautiful. That thing is just red.
Before we get into that, I should probably tell
Hmm.
Yeah, you've actually found something interesting to lecture on.
Hmm. Yeah.
Hey, Sigma. I think I figured something out. I figured out why there's an extra E. Yeah, the one on floor B. I think it's an anagram, just like on floor A.
God damn it, Sigma! Knock it off!
Memento mori if the ninth lion ate the sun. If you rearrange the letters, you get the man on the moon rules the infinite time. See? You need 6 E's to get that. So they stuck an extra one in ninth. I think it's a message for us from Zero Senior and Akane.
Hmm.
Remember what she was telling us?
We created the AB project for one purpose: to transport the consciousnesses of 2 people into.
My God, you're slow.
Well, of course, Luna just said being infected with Radical 6 slows you down 1/6.
You don't get it?
Weren't you paying attention? Let's go back to Luna telling this.
They're saying we rule the infinite time. Infinite time. They weren't just talking about having us jump a couple hours. I think they're planning to send us back. Way back. Yeah, I'd bet on it. I think so. Well, Akane should be able to tell us the rest. Let's go pay her a visit. I've got an idea. Come on, think. Remember what she said when she gave you the key?
To free.
Well, come on, what are you waiting for? Let's go.
We're gonna go right back into here.
What are you doing? Did you forget something? You mean Akane? I'll take that as a yes. Let me accompany you then.
Wait, why do you know about Akane?
I'll tell you when we get there. Now, if you please. I'm coming with you. You folks just said the magic word.
I'm going to then.
So am I.
Hey, is this Akane you're talking about?
Yeah, you know her real well.
Wait, you're serious? What the hell is going on?
Come on. Akane can go lecture us on more pseudoscience. We're going right back in.
Maybe the number 9 door should be open from the outside.
Is the number 9? Yeah. So number 9 little door a liar.
Yeah, it can be open from the outside, but can you just have someone stand outside and just open it randomly?
I guess so.
Like, did they even try? Yep, it can be open.
What a liar.
Anyone from the outside can open the number 9 door. That means they never fucking tried.
Ah, clever. The number 9 door on floor A is shut forever once the game ends. Assuming Zero Jr. was telling the truth, of course. But the door on floor B...
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Thought we might be able to take the lift to it. And it looks like I was right.
Any idea where Akane might be?
So you can just open door B at any point and
You mean
just walk out of
the
that
grave
one.
in the garden?
What the heck? Doesn't that break the purpose of the game in some regards?
I think so. Because basically, if the game doesn't keep going, then you can never get 9 points. Even if you come through 4B, right now, only do with 9 points to leave. And it requires at least one person down the cave, in some cases, at least not one that would be willing to open the door.
Is Akane really under here? What should we do? Are we gonna dig her out?
Yeah, get shovels.
What is this? It doesn't look like a coffin.
Yeah, it's a treatment pod.
Oh my god.
It is, isn't it?
Let's see what's inside. No good. I think it's locked.
Treatment pod TP00. Stage 1 defrosting complete. Stage 2 will be complete in 10 minutes. Once stage 2 is...
What? So, Ms. Akane's like an ice cube? Then we gotta wait till she melts?
So how about you tell us your story while we wait, Kay? Specifically, why do you know Akane?
I remembered.
What do you remember?
Everything. I was born and raised in this facility. It's called Rhizome 9. A rhizome is an underground plant stem that spreads by sending out roots. Kind of makes sense, doesn't it? This facility is a little like a rhizome. Supposedly, that's why they call these installations that. The number comes from the facility's number. There are 54 rhizomes on the moon, and this is the 9th one. Well, I suppose the other ones don't really matter to you, do they? In any event, I grew up here with Akane and Zero Senior. I watched them create the AB Project.
The AB Project?
Yes. Its purpose is to send Phi and Sigma, or their consciousnesses at least, to the past. Yes.
So, you want us to change history, huh? Go back and keep Radical 6 from getting out, and stop the reactors from exploding. That's our mission?
Well, not exactly. It's true that the ultimate goal of the project is to keep Radical 6 from spreading to the general population. But even if you do make it back, you won't be able to do much. By now, it's already too late.
Too late?
Let me begin at the beginning. You might be thinking that Zero Senior and Akane were the ones who created all this, but that's not entirely correct. They only followed the histories they'd already seen. It was the only choice they had. Nothing less than the future of mankind is at stake. We need the two of you to jump through timelines while maintaining your memories. That is why you had to play the AB game, and why the chromatic doors were necessary. By forcing multiple options, you could make numerous jumps. We speculated that jumping more would strengthen your memories. The puzzles were also there for a purpose. Some theories hold that a moment of insight when you solve a puzzle strengthens your connection to the fourth dimension. That was the reason for the puzzles. Your infection with Radical 6 was also a vital part of our plan. By slowing down your brain's processing speed, we can store your potential. With that energy stored up, we just had to provide a life or death situation to launch your consciousness into the fourth dimension. Like a bullet from a slingshot.
Wait, hold on just a minute here. You keep talking about Sigma and Phi, but what about the rest of us? Why did you bring us here?
That's simple. In earlier histories, you were all here in Rhizome 9. We needed you here to accurately replicate those histories. Although I suppose that's probably not a good enough explanation for you. In a sense, though, it is the truth. Our primary goal was to replicate history. The rest is... Yes, I suppose I should explain. Very well. I will try and do so in a way you can understand. First, Alice and Clover. They were abducted 45 years and 1 month ago, on December 22nd, 2028. The location is Earth, of course. More specifically, Los Angeles, California. Correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
After being kidnapped, your bodies were sent to a facility under Akane's direction. You were placed in treatment pods and immediately put into cold sleep. 4 months later, you arrived at this facility. The date you finally arrived was April 14th, 2029. Your trip from Earth to this facility was aboard a spaceship powered by an annihilation engine. Following your arrival, your pods were placed in long-term storage. Does that make sense?
Are you telling me we were sleeping in those pods here for 45 years?
Yes, in preparation for this day.
But why? What do you need us for?
You are an Esper, aren't I? mean that you are able to access the fourth dimension.
That was your brother just thought I lost her for 45 years.
I guess,
No explanation.
Am I wrong?
Did Akane tell you?
In a manner of speaking, as I've already explained, the purpose of this project is to send Sigma and Phi's consciousnesses to the past. Espers are able to sort of resonate with one another, which can amplify their power. You understand? This is why we brought you here, Clover.
What about me?
We needed your help, Alice, to deactivate Dio's bombs.
Huh? But I didn't do anything.
But you did. In another history, you were able to perform prime decomposition on the 25-digit integer that Dio left behind. Only you could do that sort of thing. Because of your feat at mathematics, we were about to determine that Dio had planted the bombs. Then we were able to question him and get the password for the number 31. Finally, we used that information to stop the bomb in this timeline. Without your help, Alice, we would have been reduced to nothing more than so much space dust. This history exists because of your presence. Now, let me explain why we needed Tenmyoji and Quark. Tenmyoji is simple. We needed you for the same reason we needed Clover. You are able to access the fourth dimension. Almost half a century ago, you used that ability to save a young girl, didn't you?
Yeah, I did.
We needed you to resonate with Sigma and Phi, so we brought you here. All it took was a messenger.
Do you want to see Akane? If you do, come with me. I was a fool and fell for it.
And you brought Quark with you. In fact, you insisted that he come.
Yeah, I know. I guess you were worried about leaving me alone, huh? He kept saying he couldn't run off to the moon and leave me behind.
I'm sorry, Quark. If I had been so stupid and selfish, none of this would have happened to you. I never thought this would happen. Can you ever forgive me?
Oh, don't worry about it. I mean, I agreed to come with you. I thought the moon would be way more interesting than boring old Earth. What kid would turn that down?
We didn't see the messenger after we got on the ship. It was on autopilot. As soon as we got in, we headed straight for the moon. During the trip, Zero told me to keep quiet once we got there. I don't remember anything after we landed.
Then there was a bunch of that white smoke, and we passed out, and when I woke up, I was in the AB room.
Now, Dio. His real name is Left, and he's the leader of a terrorist organization called the Myrmidons. He was ordered to come here. The Myrmidons are under the control of an organization called Free the Soul, which is in turn controlled by a man known as Brother. It was Brother who orchestrated the release of Radical 6 into the general population 45 years ago. Do you remember what Phi mentioned earlier? The ultimate purpose of the AB project is to change history and keep Radical 6 from being released. If we succeed, that would be bad for Brother and his organization. Our success would prevent them from creating the ideal world they're working toward. That is why Brother sent Left, his trusted lieutenant, to this facility. They needed to stop the AB project. So, Dio was given 2 tasks. The first was to eliminate Akane, the architect of the AB project. The second was to join the AB game and win it. If Dio won the game, the AB project would not be completed. At least, not in that timeline. In other words, In that world, the project would have been stopped. If things didn't go as planned, Dio was given a contingency plan. If you cannot murder Akane and win the game, destroy Rhizome 9. Hence, the bombs.
Can I ask you something?
Perhaps.
How did Brother know about the AB project?
He was also an Esper. We can set Brother aside for now, though. May I proceed? Excellent. That explains everyone, save two, Luna and myself. Sigma and Phi already know the truth about Luna. I don't believe I should reveal any more, however. I think it would be more appropriate if you could ask Luna yourselves at a later time. Would that be all right with you, Luna?
Yes, that's okay.
As for me, as I said before, I was born and raised here. The rest of you were brought to this facility. But I've never left. That makes me someone close to Zero Senior and Akane.
Hey, I've been wondering, who is Zero Senior?
You've already met him, Sigma, in another timeline.
Stage 2 is complete. TP-00 unlocking.
It looks like it's finished. Shall we open the pod?
Okay, let's get started then. Ready? All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1.
You finally noticed. Didn't I tell you? You won't be alone. I will be at your side, watching over you.
That's Akane?
Yes, I am.
Akane Kurashiki.
Oh my god.
It's you. June. I mean, Akane. From... But you're old.
Yes, that's correct. I haven't spoken to you in a very long time, Clover. Or you, Junpei.
Junpei?
Akane, long time no see.
When? How long?
Do you remember when the two of you saved me in the warehouse? Once you saved me, you went back to your future. Well, your minds did at least. I carried your bodies to the third AB room, and then took Dio's to the fifth. After that, I went into the first room and borrowed Kay's armor.
So by the time you and Clover came out, you'd already...
Yes. No, it was me. In this timeline, at least. In this one, I wasn't murdered by Dio. You two saved me. It's just like Schrodinger's cat. Your actions in the future decided who would be inside the armor in the past.
Alright, what about the other history? The one where you weren't saved. What happens then? Who's wearing the armor?
That's quite simple. The man in front of you.
Him?
That's correct. Whenever I'm not in the armor, he is.
What about the memory loss?
For my part, I confess that I lied. He, on the other hand, was telling the truth. Large doses of Soporil can cause memory loss. I gave him a rather large dose.
So, who is he?
You've never seen him before?
No.
What about the rest of you?
I have no idea who he is.
I've never seen him before.
Me either.
Total stranger.
Huh?
Huh?
Are you all right, Mr. Sigma? Did you hit your head or something?
Sigma, your consciousness can jump through time. You can inhabit your body in the past or in the future. Don't you get it? You've jumped to the future from 45 years ago.
I mean, if you were solving the water puzzles from before, or seeing glass stuff, when you, like, saw something?
It's your face, Dr. Sigma Climb. Although, to the you that's behind it now, it's your face 45 years from now. Zero, the mastermind of the AB project, is you.
Holy crap.
No, it's the truth. Fighting it isn't going to do you any good. Please, Doctor. You will be a pioneer in the field of genetic engineering. No, I'm not. You created him. Well, I suppose I should say you are going to create him. His name is Kyle Klein, your clone. That is why he looks just like a younger version of yourself. 23 years ago, in the biolab here in Rhizome 9, you created Kyle. Well, I suppose for you, that's still in the future. When I said I was born and raised here, the gravity here is only 1/6 of Earth's. If nothing was done, the reduced gravity would cause his bones to be weaker than normal human ones. But you prepared for that. You gave him that armor. Ever since he was born, he's lived inside of it. It kept his muscles and bones strong. He wasn't forced into it for the nonary game. He's been wearing it every day, all his life. He was to be your spare. If something happened to you before the project began, he would take your place. I mentioned before that the AB projects A and B stood for after and before. That isn't all they mean, though. The A also means anima, and the B means body. Anima is another word for the soul, or the consciousness. Body is, well, exactly what it says on the tin. The past consciousness will go into the future body, and the future consciousness will go into the past body. They switch. That was the chief goal of the project. Sigma, do you remember the note you found in the garden?
You mean this, right?
Yes. Ah, of course, it was you who investigated the garden in this timeline.
Yeah.
Sigma, take a good look at this. It's an illustration of the time jumps your consciousness is making.
Oh, alright. Nevada test site from the third game. Second game, Rhizome. College days.
A is where everything began. December 25th, 2028.
Yep, so college abduction goes to Rhizome right now. Out of here, goes down to whatever this is, and then back to Nevada test site and all that. From here, and then follow it around. Which leads to two conclusions. This and this. That's pretty crazy.
You inhaled the white smoke in your car and lost consciousness. From there, you jumped to B. January 25th, 2074. You woke up in one of the AB rooms in Rhizome 9. You are in your own body, but it is 67 years old. Your consciousness has jumped 45 years into the future. I believe that may explain why you didn't notice the reduced lunar gravity. The body you woke up in was much older. Normally, you would have noticed that your muscles were much weaker. In this case, however, the lower gravity balanced that out. Moving on, if you continue along this line, what happens next? You reach C, which is January 27th, 2074. That is today.
Whoa. Wait, what do you mean? Are you saying it's been 2 days since we woke up?
36 hours to be exact. Have you already forgotten? You were all infected with Radical 6. The virus slowed your brain down. So yes, 36 hours of real time have passed. But to you, it only seemed like 14 hours and 40 minutes.
Oh, it is almost like 30 hours. Holy crap.
Now
The
comes the important part. After this, your consciousness will return to the past.
Do they plan it to be that way?
It will re-emerge at point D. April 13th, 2029. You will return to your younger body.
But that's the same day as the reactor explosions.
Yeah, if you go along this line, come back to the college day.
Yes. That is why I said it will be too late. You will return to the past, but the events you would want to prevent will have already happened. The story does not end there, however. The line continues. After reaching point D, you will eventually return to B. But this time, you won't be jumping through time, or at least not at a rate faster than normal.
Oh yeah, it's right here.
Your consciousness will spend 45 years inhabiting the same body until you reach point B. Do you remember when B is Sigma? Correct. That was when the consciousness of the 22-year-old Sigma jumped into the body of 67-year-old Sigma. So where did the older version of you go when you took his body?
Back to college day.
Yes, his consciousness will go back in time 45 years. For a period of time, he will inhabit your younger body. While your younger consciousness is elsewhere, he will be you in the past. That's correct. When that happens, the older version of you will be ejected from your younger body and return to your body at sea.
How did you get to a doctor then?
Rotating. I suppose you could put it that way.
I
But
don't know.
look at this illustration closely.
This person already knows they're in college. Then the stupid person comes back, does research on
What
its own
if you
for
do
45
get one
minutes.
single line?
Then
It
goes
may
back in
look
time. All
complicated,
it takes is a new
but in
version of
truth,
the notion.
it's a single straight path. With one exception. Exactly. Point E is December 31st, 2028, the day of the total eclipse. Yes, by now you've likely figured it out on your own. The purpose of the AB project was to get the consciousness of the 67-year-old Sigma from point B to point A. If we can do that, we can change what happened 45 years ago. Yes, that is why this line could not be interrupted. In order for the 67-year-old version of you to reach point B, we first have to go through point D. In order to get to point D, we must jump from point C. And for point C to happen, we had to recreate everything that happened in this facility. That is why we have faithfully retraced history up to this point, so that we might save humankind from and undo the horrors of the last 45 years.
The ones that really people have to live as your younger self.
What is that? Yes, that's right. Very soon. Yes. We need potential energy stored to send your consciousness into the fourth dimension.
We have collected all of Dio's bombs, and then we will threaten them. We'll put it right in your face. Eat it, Sigma.
Fortunately, we now have plenty of that.
If you don't jump, Sigma, you're gonna have bombs shoved down your throat.
Thanks, ironically, to Radical 6. All that remains is to launch your consciousness, like a bullet from a slingshot. Didn't I tell you? A crisis, a moment balanced between life and death. That can jumpstart your brain. You haven't figured it out. I mean this.
Wi-Fi was there, ever.
Nope. That means he has to jump right now, right?
Yep, he's jumping right now.
Then who's jumping into him? Oh, right.
I mean, it's that he dies right now.
Until he's able to finish. That's interesting. I don't know. Good question.
Every single time, he got motivated to do exactly the same thing.
There's no escape. I gotta admit that was pretty interesting. This was the baby in the pod sent to a random time. Yeah. A new destination has been added to the float chart.
Really?
Time after time. What are you talking about? Game, stop. Game! Game. Game. What's wrong with you? Look at what we've already done.
They definitely aim for 40 hours of content here.
Today is April 13th, 2029, and this is the evening news. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I don't have any news to read.
What are you talking about?
All of our station's reporters have passed after contracting Radical 6. So have my... Excuse me. I've managed to keep us on the air until now. But I'm out of tricks. It's time for me to sign off. This concludes our broadcast day. I pray that someday our world can be cleansed of this horrible plague. Goodbye.
Yeah. Yeah.
It looks like the first step was successful. Killed? Hey, no need to be rude about it. I didn't kill you. I hit you with the butt of the knife. You're fine. Yes, you and Phi needed to experience a state of crisis. Yes, I only told you about you, but we also needed Phi to jump.
Don't take.
Now, you know what happens next, right?
Soon.
Correct. We will be leaving tomorrow, April 14th, 2029. We've nearly finished preparing your shuttle. Only a few last-minute checks and additions. You'll be traveling to Rhizome 9, along with 3 treatment pods. Yes. Phi. We put her into cold sleep 2 days ago. She appeared at our headquarters and volunteered to be frozen. That wasn't the Phi who jumped from point C, though. It was Phi before she jumped from point A to point D. In other words, she was following the same path you are. And she still is. Yes, the point C version of Phi is sleeping in that pod. She'll stay there for the next 45 years, sleeping in ice. Correct. We can't do that. You haven't figured it out? You have to spend the next 45 years working on the AB project. After arriving at Rhizome 9, you must master genetic engineering and artificial intelligence programming, among other disciplines. Otherwise, you will be unable to create Kyle, Luna, and Lagomorph. And, of course, you will need to develop the chromatic doors and the bracelets. You will also be the person who summons Tenmyoji and Quark. Once you've completed all the preparations, then the project can actually begin. January 25th, 2074. You will defrost Phi and carry her to the 3rd AB room. Once you've done that, the 22-year-old version of you from point A will force you out. And you'll just go back 45 years to your own body on December 25th, 2028.
So great, you have to stay in this nightmare for 45 years, working like a slave, and then you'll be forced out and get to go experience college.
You have to. If you don't, billions of people will die. Only you and Phi can save them. I can't if this is going to work. I'll need your help. What do you mean? You'll both enter the Mars mission test site. I don't know. I'm sorry. I really don't know anything about what happens in there. We don't know how the Radical 6 escaped. We don't even know why it was there in the first place. That's why we need your help. You have the ability to jump through time and across parallel worlds.
Yeah.
We need you to figure out what happened in that test facility.
Them doll's eyes.
Things will be difficult, and I'm sure you will find yourself in a great deal of danger. But I believe the two of you can overcome any obstacle. The 67-year-old version of you told me what happened. He wasn't able to stop the virus, so I suppose you could say you told me after you failed. That the test facility is full of traps. There was one point, a woman's life was in danger. You risked yourself for her sake, and lost your arms and your right eye.
When it kinda had the chainsaw? No.
Go have a look.
End or beginning? Fire and ice. Achievement unlocked. What's it got to do with fire and ice?
Fire and ice. The world is purged by fire. It's an ice age.
Purged by fire and enters ice age. Wait, why is this still a question mark?
I guess we have to go there now?
I see you finally woken up, Kyle.
Kyle?
Ah, yes. Of course. You've only just woken up in this timeline. It's only natural for some of your memories to be missing.
Kyle Klein. So, I'm Dr. Klein? Zero Senior's clone?
What? How do you know that? Shouldn't you still be suffering from amnesia?
Wow. So he's back as Kyle Klein. Dio handcuffed.
What day is today?
January 27th, 2074.
Today is the last day of the AB project. Akane has explained everything in the garden. And she drew a knife and attacked Phi. How long have I been asleep?
About 5 hours in real time. For them, it would have seemed like a little more than 2 hours.
So they still haven't been treated for their Radical 6?
No, they've all been given the antiviral.
Okay, so you did
It just
kill him
takes
with
a
it.
while to have an effect.
I see. So the consciousness of the younger Sigma has gone back into the past. This should have happened right after Akane attacked Phi, right?
Yes,
Why am I here?
the doctor carried you back here. You were in the pod in the garden.
So the person you call the doctor is Sigma Klein, as inhabited by his age-appropriate consciousness.
Yes, but how do you know that?
Dio seems to have remained unconscious.
Yes, I've been administering Silveril whenever he gets restless.
You just keep him drugged up.
What about the others?
They've all gone off to different areas. Tenmyoji and Quark, for instance.
Oh, right! Mr. Klein!
So the sleepyhead's finally up, huh?
What are you two doing here?
You don't know where we are?
This is the upper floor of the pressure exchange chamber. The real one.
We were just about to get dressed and head out.
You plan to return to Earth, I mean.
Yeah.
Sigma told us where we could find the shuttle that brought us here. Well, guess he's not really the Sigma I knew anymore. He's Dr. Klein now, or Zero Senior, depending on how you look at it.
Why?
What do you mean, why?
Well, just curious why you would choose to return to a devastated planet when you could stay here.
How's staying here gonna help? You aren't gonna say something idiotic about how we should wait here until Sigma changes the past, are you? You can't wait for something that's already happened. Grammar doesn't work that way. Hell, nature doesn't work that way. You following me? We've already lived through history. Sigma failed to keep the virus from getting out. 45 years ago, Radical 6 created a pandemic, and the antimatter reactors blew up. Whatever Sigma does in the past, history's not going to change. In fact, it's because of what he did or didn't do in the past that we've got this past and present. Let me give you an example. Imagine a group of 100 motorcycles driving down an endless freeway. Eventually, they hit a junction. The road splits in two. One freeway continues off northwest, and the other stretches out to the northeast. So one guy, we'll call him S, pipes up. Let's go northwest, he says. So they take the northwestern road. But about a mile past the intersection, something horrible happens. A semi driving the other way veers into their lane and plows through the bikers. 90 of them die. The surviving 10 are wounded, but survive. They don't stop, though. They keep riding down that highway, and eventually, they've gone 10,000 miles. Then suddenly, something happens that they couldn't have predicted. S, who had survived, suddenly has his consciousness thrown back in time. He ends up back in his own body, just before they reach the junction. He remembers everything. So what does S do? What anybody would do. Let's go northeast. That means all 100 of the bikers survive to reach their destination, happy and healthy. And they all live happily ever after. That's what you're thinking, right? It's a great outcome for the 100 bikers that went northeast. But what about the 10 that went northwest and survived the accident?
Huh? Wouldn't it be 9 people? I mean, S's mind went back in time, right?
Oh, right. Okay, 9 people then. What happens to the reality they were living? Does it just disappear when S changes the past? It's not as if it was only bad things that happened during that 10,000-mile trip. Maybe one of them fell in love with a woman working in a gas station they stopped at and had a child. Maybe one of them picked up a homeless kid who joined them on their adventure. That 10,000-mile journey would be full of stories, friendships, farewells, romances. The loss of those 90 lives is horrible and unfortunate. But what would rewriting their history mean? The 9 who survived lived full lives. How can it be right to just erase all that? The survivors overcame their own misery and loss and made the best they could of the hand they've been dealt. Isn't that worth something? Isn't that the best thing that humans can aspire to? Is there really any point to a world where everything is happy? Are people who struggle for a better life just idiots? Being human is about fighting, even when it seems hopeless, and finding happiness, even in a world that hates it. Are you saying that's worthless? If you're saying rewriting the past will erase all these other timelines, then whatever God wrote those rules can Look, I'm just not going to accept that, alright? You get it?
If Sigma changes the past, then you and Quark will never meet.
Is he right?
No, it's not gonna happen. We're here right now. This is reality. Even if Sigma does change the past, we're not just gonna disappear or something.
Oh, then that means we get to stay together? Good.
Thanks, kid.
I understand how you feel. Why you want to return to Earth is clear. You have lives there, I imagine. There are likely people waiting for you.
Right.
Uh-huh.
Have you already said goodbye to the others?
Bye, Luna, Alice, and Clover all saw us off. We told them we'd see them again someday, and then came here.
They were the only people you want to say goodbye to?
No point saying anything to Dio.
Besides, he's asleep. You were asleep too.
Sorry, but we didn't really know much about you.
You have a point. Akane was in the armor in this timeline, after all. What about Sigma?
Well, he's not really Mr. Sigma anymore.
He's Dr. Klein now that his consciousness has returned.
Yeah, but more importantly, he's the guy who brought us all here. Not a lot of warm feelings there, you know?
And Akane?
Never mind her. She's just like him. Not the Akane I knew. She must have seen some pretty awful things over the years. Hell, she might not even be human anymore. But the Akane Kurashiki I know isn't here. She's not anywhere.
In the end, Clover and I were just pawns. Pawns to be used and then gotten rid of. Still, it's not like we were completely resentful. We had to be here to help change the past. That part's easy to understand.
Kinda sucks, though. I mean, Sigma and Bai have it easy. They get to go back to December 25th in 2028. They'll stop the Radical Six and save the world, and then they'll have a nice, normal future to look forward to. In other words, they get to go back to Point E and just enjoy history like it was supposed to happen.
But we don't. We're stuck with point C as our starting point.
You told us about Tenmyoji's story, right? The one with the motorcycles? It would be like if Alice and I were kidnapped right before the intersection. Then whoever grabbed us takes us to wherever the bikers are going, 10,000 miles to the...
Don't get us wrong. We know why we had to be here. Without us, X's consciousness wouldn't have been able to go back to right before the intersection.
If that couldn't happen, then the fate of... But
it's still not the best situation for those of us left in the Northwest.
Both of you were thrown like 45 years in the future, regardless.
Are we just supposed to go live on Earth?
Alice and Clover were thrown 45 years in the future, regardless.
And what about our friends and families? We left a whole world behind 45 years ago.
Even if it is for the great...
It just doesn't seem fair, does it?
Yeah, it's a little bit much.
Why did the idea of using the bomb from the manufacturing to blow opening the auxiliary exit in the decontamination room? They set the bomb in the door, you know, the one where all three of them had the choice to bed and turn on acid?
Yeah.
I set the bomb from the door, then they contacted by Zero, who told them they were broken the rules. I punished them and ordered two teams to the opposite side of the door, and put niggas into their bracelets. If the bomb goes off, the door will open, but all Q teams will be killed. He's also turned on the acid showers in these contamination rooms. But they need to pass through to disarm the bombs. Some of the places identified there's not enough time, and they run away. He gets on his protective suit and tries to disarm the bomb, but it's too late, because Orange and I are injured by the explosion. On the other side of the door, the team meets the dying Q team. Mira takes revenge by injecting fire through Radical 6. Diana cannot face killing 5, so takes 5 and putting her out of the facility elevator, releasing Radical 6 in the process. Soon we realize this is the hand game that leads to virtuous rewards. Perhaps the next signal will do better.
Right. I remember that, the acid shower and bomb thing.
So we went and talked to the old lady.
She told us that there is
one way we can get back.
Let's say you do go back to them. Wouldn't that cause your minds to get thrown back here? That seemed to be how Sigma and Phi's jumps worked, at least.
Yes, you're right.
But this is different.
Different?
From what she said, it sounds like there's a way we can send our bodies back in time, too.
That's ridiculous. It would create a paradox. How could you have 2 Clovers and 2 Alices at the same time?
But that wouldn't happen.
Akane says there's a way around that.
How on earth does she plan to do that?
Schrodinger's
cat.
Oh, hey, Kyle. Figured you'd come here eventually.
Where's Dr. Klein? Luna said you were with him.
He said he was tired, so he's off resting right now. There's a bedroom at the end of the hallway. He's in there if you're curious. Oh, right. He told me to turn on this hologram projector thing when you showed up. Want me to start it?
Shh.
Glad to see you. There isn't anything in particular that I have to tell you. However, I imagine there are a great number of things weighing on your mind. I'd love to answer all your questions, but unfortunately, my circumstances make that an impossibility. I hope you can forgive me. Everything I know, Phi should also know. I have instructed her to answer any questions anyone might have. Anyone other than Kyle, that is.
What does he mean, other than Kyle?
Who knows? Is there anything you want to ask?
Oh, right, well, I guess I may as well cut to the chase. Just who are you, Phi?
I'm not Superman, that's for sure. And I'm not Batman or Spider-Man or Aquaman or a merman or a wolfman.
Oh my god.
I'm not a Brahmin or Kamen or Ramen. I'm not a Cayman either, so you really don't need to worry about anything.
Please don't dodge the question. About 5 hours ago, Akane attacked you with a knife. That triggered something which sent your mind back to the past, correct? Specifically, you were sent to Point D, April 13th, 2029. On that date, your body was already in Akane's custody. Although by then, you were in cold sleep. You wouldn't have regained consciousness, but your mind was now inhabiting that body. That pod was your home for 45 years. You slept there, frozen, until the time was right. Then on even though you didn't wake up, still unconscious, you were carried to the AB room. That was when your consciousness changed bodies again. A version of you from December 25th, 2028 arrived, pushing and sending you back to December 25th, 2028. This is when you finally woke up. In 2028, you found and joined forces with Sigma, whose older mind was inhabiting his younger body. Together, you attempted to infiltrate the Mars mission test facility. Unfortunately, your plan failed. The Radical Six did escape on New Year's Eve. That failure determined the path you followed. Instead of going along the line that branches out to the right from point E, you headed straight to point D. Point D being April 13th of the following year. That was the day that you made your way to Akane's hideout and asked to be put into one of the treatment pods. Another consciousness enters your body around that time from the future. It is, of course, the version of you that left your body when Akane attacked you in the garden. This caused the two versions of you to swap places. You moved 45 years into the future, where you woke up on the garden floor. That put you on the line that comes here. So if we discount the time you spent in cold sleep, for you, only 3.5 months have passed since that happened. That being when you were sent back into the past from the garden. Have I missed anything?
No, everything you talked about you got right.
Well, what do you mean by that?
I'm kind of an unknown variable in this equation. You could think of me as a kind of X factor. It's taken me the last 3.5 months to understand it.
I haven't understood anything in the last 3.5 seconds. Could you please explain?
It's kind of like the relationship between classical mechanics and modern physics. Strictly speaking, you can't combine velocities with v1 plus v2. v1 plus v2 divided by 1 plus v1 times v2 over c squared is the actual equation.
Okay.
Of course, the sort of velocities we encounter in day-to-day life don't come close to being c squared, which is the speed of light squared. That means that 1 plus v1 times v2 divided by c squared is usually going to evaluate to something pretty close to 1.
Okay.
Since that would mean dividing by 1, it's usually okay to just skip that step and use v1 plus v2. You see what I'm saying?
No.
In most situations, it works, even if it isn't technically correct. So you knew enough to get the stuff you were talking about right. As long as you stick to that, you won't run into any problems.
I don't quite understand. In fact, I feel like you're dodging my questions.
So was that what you wanted to ask about?
No. What I really want to know is what happened between Christmas and New Year's Eve in 2028. You and Sigma infiltrated the Mars mission test site, didn't you?
Yes.
What happened there? How did Sigma lose his eye and both his arms? And why was Radical 6 in there in the first place? What could a deadly virus have to do with the simulated mission to space?
Sorry, but I can't tell you that.
Why?
Because it would change history. There is a history where the virus didn't escape. That's the line that goes to the right of point E. In that timeline, humanity isn't heading for annihilation, and Earth isn't red. The future is much brighter. But if I tell you what you're asking me right now, then that reality will disappear. You understand?
I don't. Why would all of that disappear if you told me what I want to know?
You're about to go back to the past, right?
The past? Don't be silly. I can't do that.
And where the hell did you learn all this stuff? I just listened to you tell me a bunch of things you shouldn't have known about. You were sleeping in the pod in the garden. You just woke up. So how can you know all this? You know my past. Sigma's past.
I shall give you your answer. You are not Kyle Klein. Your body is Kyle's, but your consciousness is not. Think about it. Do you really believe you're Kyle? Or could you be someone else entirely?
Then, where is the real Kyle's consciousness?
He was thrown out when you entered. Right now, in a manner of speaking. He has arrived at December 25th. 2028. His consciousness has gone into a body from that time. I doubt you know how much the Doctor loves Kyle. Kyle. He raised him on his own. Kyle is irreplaceable. Do you really think he would go back to the past and leave Kyle behind here? I know what I told the others, that Kyle was Dr. Klein's spare, but that was not his only purpose. Kyle's consciousness is integral to what we are trying to accomplish. This new mission begins on Christmas and ends on New Year's Eve 2028. Its purpose will be to infiltrate the test facility and prevent the spread of the virus. For this to happen, Kyle is absolutely necessary.
And that is why he created him?
Yes.
So now that my consciousness has entered his body, the Doctor has achieved his objective. Kyle has gone back to 2028 to participate in his mission.
Correct.
There's one thing that troubles me. Kyle was created before reaching point B from point D. That means his body did not exist on Christmas in 2028. Does that mean he has entered my body? Have we just switched places?
I suppose you could put it that way, yes.
That's ridiculous. What's going to happen to me? Telling me I have to spend the rest of my life here in this box, living in a borrowed body?
No, not at all. You can travel freely through time and space. You are an uncontrolled variable that entered our closed system. As such, the rules of this world do not apply to you.
I have no idea what...
Please don't try to play dumb. I know what you are. Surely you must know by now. You are about to go into the past and save the world. Phi and Sigma, even with all of his future knowledge, will need your help. Only you can right the horrible wrongs of our past. Only you can save the world.
There's no way.
Yes, there is. You have to. Don't you want to know the truth? Don't you want to know what happened in between Christmas and...
Well, yes, I do, but...
Then you must believe. Reality is...
Oh, it just keeps going and going.
Believe reality should be. If obvious, then how is it odd to think that human thought can shape reality? Your will can change history. The world will be reshaped into the one you imagine. Remember what I've told you. Only you can change history. Only you can save the world.
Alternative end. A certain point of view. Achievement unlocked. A new thing in your flowchart has been created.
Really?
No, I'm joking.
Looks like that's it.
Oh my god. Oh my god, that's it.
There we go. That was cute.
Wait, so who attacked him in the car? Was that Connie?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's why she shows up in the outfit.
Look at that. The whole ending took 2 hours.
Also, like, her ending is going to be very long.
Yeah, it just kept going and going. Woo! Okay, that's Virtue's last reward. Nonary games. Woo. This has got to be one of the weirdest series ever made. Alright, that's going to do it for this video. I want to thank you for watching. Feel free to leave a comment, Hope you have yourself a good day. Bye-bye.